Now that the US have paused all military aid to Ukraine, this is the moment where, for me, Ukraine have now lost the war. Hey up everyone and welcome to Political Nerds. I'm Steph the Alter Nerd, your nerdy political guide from Washington DC to Westminster and beyond. In today's video, I'm going to discuss how Ukraine have now lost the war after President Trump has paused all American military aid to them. Now, as a disclaimer, I'm not inciting hatred to anyone or a particular group, religion, etc. So let's jump into it with this. This has just been released in the last couple of hours. Yeah. All military aid has been paused after that absolutely epic Zelensky clash with President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. And so here it was a concern for Ukraine that has been going on for months that, yeah, America was going to pause their military aid. Now, during that period, the article here says that they were able to essentially delay those fears using diplomacy. Well, diplomacy has gone out of the window now because after that whole absolute spat in front of their cameras, which, by the way, I think it was President Trump and Vice President Vance completely bitch slapping Zelensky, and I'm all here for it, really, to be fair. An official speaking on the condition of anonymity told Reuters, quote, "President Trump has been clear that he is focused on peace. We need our partners to be committed to that goal as well. We are pausing and reviewing our aid to ensure that it is contributing to a solution." And this is the thing, right? That whole moment between Zelensky and President Trump and Vice President Vance showed to me that Zelensky's not really for peace. He wants this war to go on, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. There's only so many young people he can force to conscript into the army before he runs out. So what's his end game there? Well, to me, his end game is forcing NATO's hand and getting NATO in, boots on the ground. For Zelensky to turn around and say, we don't have an army left, we need NATO's help. He wants this war to carry on and carry on and carry on. He's completely hardline on this one. He will not accept any concessions whatsoever. And the problem is that, unfortunately, when you look at the situation, Ukraine does not have the upper hand. It really does not. It is fighting, for me, what is now a losing war for them. The only smart play that Zelensky has got is to now come to the negotiating table. And he needs to think of what concessions he would be willing to follow through on to try and reach peace. But he won't do that. And so I completely agree with President Trump when he turns around and says that Zelensky's playing with World War III. I really do believe that is the case. He's too hardline. He needs to now get into the headspace of negotiating for peace. Otherwise, this war is going to go on and it's just going to get worse, not only for Ukraine, but for the rest of the world as well. And President Trump sees that. And President Trump is like, look, I'm not going to give billions to a country that isn't really contributing to a solution whatsoever. And so this order essentially will now remain in effect. This pause on military aid to Ukraine will now remain in effect until President Trump is happy that Ukraine has now demonstrated a commitment to peace negotiations with Russia. President Trump will only resume aid, essentially, once he's happy that Ukraine have changed their mind and are like, okay, we'll get to the negotiating table and we'll negotiate peace. And this is according to a White House official. Now, the halting of military aid does come 5 years after President Trump held up congressionally authorized assistance to Ukraine, as he sought to pressure Mr. Zelensky to launch an investigation into Joe Biden, then the Democratic presidential candidate. So this ain't the first time that President Trump has paused aid to Ukraine. He has done that before. Now, President Trump yesterday slammed Zelensky for for suggesting that the end of the war likely is still very, very far away. And this is why I say Zelensky at the moment is still not in the headspace of trying to negotiate for peace. He wants this war to continue. He's saying it himself. The end of the war is likely very, very far away. Zelensky suggested it would take time to come to an agreement to end the war as he tried to offer a positive take on the US-Ukraine relationship. Well, yeah, it's going to take time to come to an agreement to end the war when Zelensky is that hardline that he won't even come to the table in the first place and even consider negotiating for peace. And so here, this graph essentially typifies why, for me, Ukraine have now lost the war. It is over. It's over. They have to go to the negotiation table now. Because when you look at this, the United States, by far, is the largest military aid contributor to Ukraine between 2022 and 2024. Over £50 billion of American taxpayers' money have gone to Ukraine. You've then got Germany at 10 billion, United Kingdom at 8 billion, which, by the way, this is between 2022 and 2024. The UK have now contributed over £13 billion to Ukraine for military aid. So unless Germany has contributed anything more, we're now the second highest contributor for military aid to Ukraine. I think we should follow suit and pause all military aid to Ukraine, just like America. Because for me, President Trump has played an absolute blinder, an absolute master move on this chess table. Why? Because America is the biggest contributor for military aid to Ukraine. Having all of that paused means that Ukraine is completely handicapped with this war. Without their biggest backer, which is America, what have they got left? Not really that much. With President Trump pausing military aid, he's now forcing Zelensky's hand to get to the negotiation table. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the next month that does happen, where Zelensky does eventually go to the negotiating table. And we finally have an end in sight, a light at the end of the tunnel, where this war can finally come to an end and we can finally have peace. And like I say, without their biggest backer, which is America, for me now, Ukraine have now lost the war. It is over. It is now time for Zelensky to get to that negotiating table. With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, and believe me, of course, there's going to be more, you do not want to miss my next video, then make sure you subscribe to join our Alter Nerd tribe here at Political Nerds. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, whatever. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that now Ukraine have lost their biggest financial military aid backer, which is America? Do you think they've now lost the war? Do you think this is what it's going to take to force Zelensky to get to the negotiation table? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters.